Hey everyone. Even know if there's anybody online right now. Let's see. I'll wait around a while, see if anyone joins. This is my first Hangout, so I generally do videos and interviews and so on. So maybe we'll get a few people coming in tonight. If anyone comes in, please say hi in chat and let me know you're there. And if you want to join, you're welcome to do so. Hey Mark, how are you? Do you want to join the stream? Just let me get you the invite to the stream if you want to join and in the conversation. If you want to click on that link, you can come in and join, and we can have a bit of a chat. We're here to talk about 3D printing. If you do join, please mute your YouTube or Facebook or wherever else you're watching this on. Mute before you click on the link, so we don't hear the echo of the other audio kicking in the background. So please feel free to click on the StreamYard link that I posted in chat if you want to come in and hang out with me and chat. Uh, Brandon, I'm doing great, thank you. And how are you, sir? So again, as I said, the StreamYard link is there if you want to come in and join. Just click on the StreamYard link. You can actually join in and come on camera with me, and we can hang out and talk about stuff. As I said, we're here about talking about 3D printing, CNC, laser engraving, and anything else you want to discuss. Uh, Work is still keeping you busy tonight. Well, yeah. You know, Brandon, I know how that feels. It's not very often I'm not working in the evenings myself. I'm either working for the thing that puts a roof over my head, as probably you are, or I'm busy setting up stuff, like streams and setting up printers and doing reviews and so on and tech analysis. Actually, tomorrow night you may have seen the update if you follow the YouTube or Facebook that I have changed the time for the Soval interview tomorrow evening. So I'll have both Ronald. Oh, there's Mark. Hey, Mark, you're on mute. Unmute yourself. So if you want to join in the conversation, oh, okay, Mark has left. Um, the tomorrow night's interview is being moved an hour earlier, so it's not at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's now at actually 8 p.m. Eastern. The guys at Soval asked to move the time to an hour earlier because they actually have a meeting conflict. So tomorrow night I will have on here. Tomorrow night we'll have both Heidi and Ronald, and we'll have a bit of a get to know you conversation and talk a bit about the company, about Soval, and we've find out a bit about what their immediate plans are when it comes to product and what their future plans are. So, uh, hey Nadav, how are you? I am on YouTube. You should be able to see me on YouTube. The link is out there. The system tells me I'm live on YouTube. Hold on, let me mute my microphone for a second, and I'm going to Sorry, I was actually talking to myself. I'm sorry, guys. Um, Tomorrow night's interview, as I said, is going to be with Heidi and the guy and Ronald at Soval. So it's at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night. But if anybody who is online wants to come in and have a chat, wants to actually come in on screen with me, um, just uh, just send me a message. Can you hear me now on Facebook, Brendan? I'm getting no responses. So if someone can verify you can hear me, I know my mic's unmuted. It was muted a moment ago. I'm sorry. Um, okay, good to go. Excellent. Thank you, Brandon. So as I said, tomorrow night's interview might be interesting. Um, we've all talked to well, a lot of us have probably talked to the guys at Soval on their feeds. Tomorrow night is not going to be a marketing event. We will talk a bit about their present products. We'll talk about their future plans for products. We will talk about them as people, what's like what it's like working for a company like Soval and so on. But it's not going to be a marketing. I do not do marketing streams. Okay, not my game. My whole thing about doing the interviews is about taking what the a lot of these 3D printing companies have actually come out and interviewed us as makers. They've talked to us online. They've asked us about what we do. They've talked about us as people. My idea of my interviews is to flip that upside down, spin it around, turn the spotlight on them, let them tell us about what's life for them, what they do on a daily basis, what their company is doing, what advances, what they're planning on doing. Now, I have, as I said, I have Soval this week, tomorrow night. Next week I have Maker Pie will be on next week. I'm not sure how many of you know Maker Pie, but I'll be next week. We'll be chatting with Maker Pie at 9 p.m. next Thursday. The week after is Thanksgiving Thursday, so there's going to be no event that Thursday. But I probably will do. I'll still do a Wednesday night hangout. But the following week, the week of the third, on Thursday the third, there will actually be a. I'm having um, some guests from IC3D. That'll be at 8 p.m. in the evening. Now, those of you who don't know, IC3D is a filament making company, but they do a lot more than just filament. They do a lot of 3D printing stuff for industry, and hopefully we'll get to see some of the nice, cool stuff they're working on. They're actually working on developing some really large size FDM printers for heavy industry. Uh, so we've all have a dream of the 1 meter, um, the 1 meter printer and so on. Well, they're going a little bit bigger than that, and they're going to talk about some of that with us tomorrow night on the third of next month. So that'll be a good one to watch. Just tune in to find out what they do and talk about their filaments as well, because their filaments are really cool. I'm a big user of their filaments. Generally, I'm not a fanboy of companies in general. I like some companies that some I'm okay with, um, but I give everyone an equal chance. But the filament with are they? I'm a really big fan of PETG because I use it a lot. The rockets here behind me are PETG prints, but it's car parts printer. Yes, they actually do some of that. IC3D do a lot for automotive, so we'll hear more about that on the third of next month because they'll be on the stream on the third at 8 p.m. So I'm trying to line up a whole series of different um, manufacturers of not only just printers but also filaments and so on. So we get to talk with them and get to interview them and get to know them and learn about them as a company and as people. I'm getting pinged by somebody. Oh, okay, that's in Spanish, so I don't care about that. The Unless any of you are Spanish speaking, Corality just went live with their Spanish stream. So I have zero Spanish, so I have zero interest. Um, So if any of you want to, again, Mark, if you want to come on and chat, I can post the, let me post the, where am I can post the link if you want to come in and chat with me on screen. There you go. Just come in, click on the link. Make sure you mute your Facebook or YouTube first, and click on that link, and then come in and join us. Join me here if you want to come in and have a chat on screen. You can talk about anything. Doesn't matter. There's no pressure. This is relaxed. This is not a formal interview or anything. This is just a place for us to hang out and talk about what we do and talk about what we like about what we do and just everyday today stuff. No religion, no politics. Those things are not allowed. Okay, they destroy good conversation and they destroy uh, a lot of stuff. So we avoid those two topics. But everything else is game. Nobody willing to come in and chat? Okay. Well, it looks like I'm talking to myself then for a while. So um, let me give you a bit of an introduction to myself and how about we start with that. And if you want to come in and chat, you're free to do so. Just click on that link. It's open to anybody to come in and join. So my background is IT. I'm an IT engineer. Right now, I'm not doing that. I'm a product engineer right now, a product manager, a technical product manager, and but in a computer software company. But I got into IT into 3D printing because of um, astronomy. It's always been my thing, right? Astronomy, as you can probably guess, with all the stuff behind me, I'm a nerd, and I'm even though somebody else has a title, I'm actually a 3D printing nerd. I'm a nerd and into 3D printing. So somebody else actually has claimed that title, right? Okay, Joel, but the it's kind of I got into it to try and to customize stuff for my telescopes and my astronomy equipment, and then later on decided I wanted to experiment more. And as all of you probably know, you start off with one printer, and one printer all of a sudden becomes two, and then it becomes four. And you know, if you leave a printer long enough, they end up breeding. So you end up with multiple printers over the space of a weekend or whatever. So you end up getting more and more. So if you're interested to learn more about me, again, casual chat, come on in. I do not know who is still online. I'm guessing it's Mark, maybe Brandon. I don't know. Um, so uh, if any of you have suggestions of content you want covered in my channel or companies you want me to reach out to that you'd like to learn more about, please let me know. As I said, I'm not like some of the other large YouTubers. I have a small following, and that's fine with me. Um, I'm not under contract like some others are with 3D printing companies, and they promote their products. I don't do that. I believe in giving everybody a fair chance, and in doing so, I think I'd rather offer every small company, even those who are barely known, a chance to come on and talk about their product. Maybe even if they want me to review their product, I will do reviews for them. I'd rather do that and be fair and be even across the board rather than say, I don't know you. You're a small company. I've never heard of you. I'm not going to touch your product. There's no way I'm going to talk about it, which does happen with some of the larger reviewers, and I refuse to do that. I think everyone should be treated equally, no matter how big or small you are, because you are producing a product, and the people, the general public, have deserve a right to hear what that product is and hear somebody's assessment of that, rather than them hiding in obscurity. I think it's better off that we actually let people know about it. So whoever is still on, if you'd like to come join, again, you can click on the StreamYard link and come in and join the conversation. If not, I can go back talking about what I do. So let me go just switch back. If somebody wants to come in and join, please feel free. Let's see who is. busy pinging. Okay, the guys for who I'll be interviewing next week are actually busy chatting right now. The guys at Maker Pie. So as I said, I'll be interviewing the guys at Maker Pie next week, and tomorrow night is Soval at 8 p.m. And the following week is on the 19th is Maker Pie at 9 p.m. Eastern. And that should be a good interview because I don't know how many people know Maker Pie, right? I barely know their products, to be honest with you. I'm learning their products. I know lots of other products and I've been printing them for a long time, but I'm still there's smaller companies out there that I have never dealt with it before. So, no, anybody have any questions or anything, please chime in. Let's see if there's more. Maybe not. So, so let's go back to me talking about my how I got into printing. So I said about doing stuff for astronomy. Now, after doing stuff for astronomy, then I started getting more and more doing more and more small stuff. Everybody does eventually, um, and a few other things. But I started getting into more of the design of the printers and more about how printers work, the different types of designs, and how those different types of designs function. And so when I got into that detail, my interest kept growing. And then I started linking astronomy and 3D printing, and I started making other stuff. So one of my big passions is doing community outreach in astronomy. And since I'm doing that, or whoever just joined, if you want to come in and have a conversation, there is a link in the stream. In on Let me just post it again, just to make sure everybody has it. You can click on that link and you can come in, and I can add you into the conversation. Just click on that StreamYard link. Before you do so, please um, mute your Facebook or YouTube, and then click on the link, because when you come in, you're not gonna we won't have feedback from your YouTube or Facebook. So if you want to come join the conversation, click on that link. This is my first Hangout, so I've done live streams and so on, but this is my first Hangout. So if you want to come join, and we just talk about everything and anything that is linked to 3D printing or CNC or laser engraving, and so on. I'm into all of that. No, okay. Well, the link is there if you care to join us. Mute your YouTube or Facebook, or pause it, and then click on the link, and then come. You can come in, and I can add you into the live. We can just talk. This is about hanging out, getting to know everybody who comes on here in the community, right? It's about sharing information. So while I'm waiting for someone to come along, I'll go back to talking about how I got into this. So I got into doing stuff, linking astronomy and 3D printing. Other than doing stuff for my telescopes, I started doing stuff for might have been okay. Let me just click. Okay, Brandon. Well, if you want to come chat when you're ready, um, the link you have the link. But as I said, just remember to mute your Facebook or YouTube, and you can come join in. And anyone who's just joined who wants to come in and hang out and chat, the link is there. And if you need a link, just post a message, and I will repost the link to join me here on the stream. You can come in and hang out with me. The I said this is my first hangout. Should be fun. If anyone wants to come on and chat. If not, I'm going to hold one of these weekly anyway. I'm thinking it probably every Wednesday night. Wednesday night is normally quiet for most other streams. And then Thursdays Fridays are always busy, and weekend nights are always busy, and sometimes the beginning of the week are often busy. So I try to find a night in the middle where uh, that nobody else is really doing many streams. But I don't know everybody out there. There's too many people in the 3D printing world to know everybody who's online doing streams tonight. So I got into doing going back to what I was saying. I got into doing stuff for astronomy, and then I started linking. I started doing stuff for the disabled, especially in the world of the blind. And that's where from there I went on into doing more for the blind, and I ended up designing stuff for use by the blind in 3D printing. So you can see some of those domes here behind me, these hemispheres here and over here, and also on this side. These are 3D printed designs to allow the blind to um, to learn the layout and the shapes of the constellations in the night sky. So this is one of my designs. There's one per season. It's kind of it's got a lot of popularity actually with the National Federation for the Blind. The designs are not 100% done yet. They're very close. I have one pretty much done. Now I have to just replicate it to the others. But it will be accompanied with an audio script, and that audio script will actually be, give instructions on navigating around the hemisphere. Let me show you one. So you have a rough tactile starting square, and then you navigate going clockwise around the dome, and it brings you to the first constellation. So the large bumps like these represent the stars, and the lines between them represents the shape of the constellation. So they can tactilely feel that. Now, to go from one constellation to the next, you have tactile arrows, which actually guide them from point A to point B. So they navigate the next constellation, and then again tactile arrows to go on to the next object. And there'll be a storyline with it to tell them when to move and they're feeling and so on, what constellations they're feeling. Now so I've been working with National Federation for the Blind on these designs. Uh, they are this is the finished. This is one that's finished. The others I need to change them a little bit, but not by much. Mainly adding the tactile arrows because I used to have broken lines there, but we're going to change it to tactile arrows. But other than that, um, some of these you might recognize. The Little Dipper, the Big Dipper, Cassiopeia, uh, Cepheus, the King, and then the Great Square of Andromeda, or Pegasus, and then from Pegasus to Andromeda, and then on. Okay, so this is one of four. One will be per season, as it would be in a planetarium show. Also, tactile craters on the moon, so they can actually feel what a crater shape of a crater is, rather than being on a flat surface, which most of the stuff for the blind is on a flat surface. This is actually gives them a three-dimensional feel of it. So that's one of the big projects I've been working on for the last few months, and it's approaching being ready. It looks like nobody wants to chat tonight. Talking to myself. I know, Brandon, you're busy. You're busy with work, so uh, you've got a good excuse. Let's see if there's other stuff. So what things are you guys into? What do you use your 3D printing for? Anybody? You can post it in chat if you don't want to come in and have a conversation. No takers? Thanks, Brandon. Yeah, I think it's cool. It's just linked me with astronomy, with what I do, with astronomy and 3D printing together. And I saw a gap in the community in the outreach I do because I do a lot of science outreach. And I like a lot of what I do is do that. If I'm not doing it for the blind, I'm also doing like physics and astronomy outreach with the community. I do outreach with NASA as well. I'm what's called a solar system ambassador with NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. So I do community outreach for NASA as well. Um, and because of that, I'm constantly out at school. I go to schools and I go out to um, I go to like community events and so on. Arrange like go to libraries and so on and do presentations or do talks. And I like to keep my talks sciencey. I just don't want to talk about the Mars mission. I don't want to talk about going back to the moon or like the Artemis program. I'd rather talk about, even though they're really cool and I'm into all of that, I'd rather talk about the science, like what is going into orbit and all this kind of stuff. I like to talk spectroscopy, talking about dividing light and using light to understand the universe and what something is made out of. That's the side of astronomy I like, and this side of astronomy I enjoy. So it's to me that's the fun part of it. So yeah, super nerd. Happy to say I'm a nerd. Um, when people call me a nerd, I say thank you. I don't find it offensive. Uh, so yeah, it's cool that kids are super inquisitive. Um, Kids want to learn everything they can, and there's so much resources out there. Like if you go to the NASA website, there's a whole pile of resources out there about astronomy and about the stars. Um, if you go to if they're young kids, like let's say 7 or 8, and so on, go to NASA Space Place. If you look it up online, they have a whole pile of stuff out there, and it's all aimed at explaining stuff for kids, how a star works, moons orbit planets, and all this kind of stuff. And you can even sign up, and you'll get I think it's monthly newsletters from them by email explaining something new each month. So you should consider that for the kids, Brendan. Kids love learning that kind of stuff. And when this COVID craziness is over, even though we don't talk about religious or political events or whatever, but COVID is not a political event. But when this is over, reach out, find local astronomy clubs in your area. I'm in Michigan, in Southeast Michigan. I don't know where you're based, Brandon. I'm guessing by the fact that you're still working, you're somewhere west of me. But I would say find a local astronomy club who, once this COVID is over and done with and people are inoculated against it, reach out to those guys and do events. Go to their events because amateur astronomer clubs love doing outreach. They love showing people around their telescopes. They love showing people stuff in the night sky. So find a local club and you take the kids out with you on a weekend night. They often do what they call beginner nights, um, and those beginner nights are public nights. It's a great place for kids to go and look through telescopes if you don't have one yourself, and you learn a lot. And they explain what they're looking at and they explain how stuff works. So it's kind of cool for kids. This conversation turned more sciencey than 3D, but that's good. I'm cool with all of it because I like science. As I said, I'm a serious nerd. You're in Arkansas, okay? Well, I'm sure you have fantastic skies out there, and there's probably, if you look online, there's probably going to be an astronomy club in your area somewhere. It may not be in your backyard because my guess is you've got a really large backyard. Um, so kids are focused on video. Well, yes, kids are very focused on video games, but this will get them out of that and get them into doing other cool stuff. Like my kids were focused on video games too, but they hung out with me when I had my telescope out. Right? Kids like science. They like learning new stuff. Even though they hate school and all this kind of stuff, something cool like that they can talk about, something interesting, something new, they're all over it, right? Okay, until they hit their teenage years and then they don't want to go anywhere but their bedroom. Okay, but later on, but when they're younger, they actually want to go out and do stuff. And you never know if they have an interest in science. You could spur something in them, some something in their imaginations. Then they might want to get into it a little bit more. Uh, that's my big thing is to try and expose people to that information, to something they've never seen or heard of before, and I've had people everywhere from the age of 4 years old, because anything younger than four is kind of pointless looking through a telescope, but because they don't understand what they're seeing. But from four, the oldest person that has been on my that has looked through my telescope, she was 96 years old. She'd never looked through a telescope in her life, and it's her very first time at 96 years old. Her grandkids were with her, and they held her and they held her and steadied her, and she looked through an eyepiece, and it's the first time she ever saw the planet. She saw the rings of Saturn. If I remember, I think it was Saturn, it was maybe Jupiter. It was Jupiter or Saturn. It was one of those two. But it was her first time looking through a telescope, and she saw a planet at 96 years old. Now that's kind of cool. Um, and I've seen many people who have first. I've even had people come around, look in the front of my telescope, the front aperture of the telescope, and say, "What's this? Like, where's the picture?" Because they didn't believe what they were seeing with their eye through the eyepiece was real. So it is kind of cool. No matter what age you are, if you've never seen a planet before, it's cool to see it through a telescope with your own eye. It looks like we have very few attendees tonight, and that's okay. But it's our first one, but maybe it'll grow in the future. Um, Feel free to share these and any of my streams out, because uh, I make zero out of these. I pay for all of this myself, the StreamYard and so on. So it's I do it because it's fun. I do it because I want to spread the word about 3D printing. And if you want to get all nerdy and sciencey with me, I'm more than happy to go there. So let's see what else. Any other questions out there? Now, if anybody is out there and wants to help sponsor and pay for this, because StreamYard is kind of pricey, but if anyone wants to help with it, you can. You can always just do a one time and just buy me a coffee, whatever amount you want. Uh, and that's one way of helping me pay for StreamYard. Um, StreamYard is $250 a month, a year, right? So it's a pricey piece of software. Um, and so if anyone wants to help out, please feel free to do so. But if not, that's okay too. I'll support as long as I can. And anybody want to join? How's your work going, Brandon? You want to come join in? Conversation is easier when there's two people involved, at least, rather than being one-sided. I know you're working, so now I do have. Has anyone here been backers of the Artisty? Anyone has subscribed to the Artisty and been a backer? There's been I know, and if you weren't watching my live stream last week, with Gigi Maker, with Bill Gow, uh, they're they're shipping this week. The first machines are going to be shipped out this week. So expect 4 weeks or so, maybe 4 to 6 weeks shipping time, depending. It's only 200 machines, but still 4 to 6 weeks shipping time for a first 200 machines. Oh, Adav, how are you? It's good that you're here. Do you want to come in and join the conversation? You can click on the StreamYard link and come join me if you want. Here's the link. Just mute your YouTube and YouTube that you're on, or if you're on Facebook, mute that. Click on that link, and you can come join me. And apparently not. I think he just dropped off. Oh well. Oh, there you are, Techie Dad. Hey man, how are you? You're on mute.
There we go.
How's life?
Oh, just work. Every time I think it's done, I get called to do more IT work as well.
Oh, you're IT. My background is IT also.
Yeah, been doing it for. I started out as like hardware support for the Army after it was like a hobby, and then of course everything went under warranty. So then it became, hey, let's have you do desktop support and like networking, and I was like, all right, so let's try that.
Yeah.
And then,
So
of course, I went to a reserve unit after I did my active duty time in the Army, and my reserve unit goes, "Oh, you know networks. How about you take over this satellite system?" I'm like, "I don't know anything about satellite. That's a whole different job."
is that how it works
They
for
were
all
like, "No,
IT?
no, you know how to do it." And I was like, "Okay, fine."
Yeah.
So
It starts out with
learn
you
that.
knowing where the on button is on a computer. Once you know where the on button is, you're already light years ahead of everybody else, and then now you're support.
Yeah. Now that little system they had me work on, I would love to see some of that wireless mesh network
Hmm?
be on the public side, because that stuff was amazing.
Yeah.
Just by
Well,
changing one antenna, I can go like 40 miles away and hit the other part and still make you part of my network. Like, that was just amazing. And
yeah.
fully
Well,
weatherproofed outside. Like,
it'll come.
why? Why
It's
can't we
just the
have
military.
this?
It's developed for the military first, and then eventually it bleeds down to everybody else. So it's like the internet, as it is, was first developed for the military, right? For
Right.
communications for military, and then eventually they made it available. So that what they have now, what the technology you are working on, eventually will go to industry, and then will dwindle down to everybody else. It's just
I
when
hope
it's
so,
military.
because even then, I mean, the technology speed was like, see, this was almost 10 years ago was when I was last working on it. And at that point, it was already probably 10 to 15-year old technology at that point.
Yeah,
So we're looking at 25, almost 25 years after the fact, and they still had better range. Like, you can't see it very well, but just under the top there, that white spot,
yeah,
that's my access point,
okay.
and it is garbage. I mean, it's right over my head, and I still don't get good reception in here.
Is it your speed is bad, or is it just reception?
That's a older business salvage, G network based, old Cisco AirNet. So it's got
What?
the business class part of it, but it's old, so it doesn't really mesh well with all the new technology.
No, but what
So,
channel is it on?
oh, I have no idea. I
That's
have auto
important.
scan, so
Well, see, here's a problem. The automatic scanning of those, it normally jumps to probably two channels. It's either 7 or 15, right? Often, right? And if you can get apps on your cell phone, and you put your cell phone on wireless discovery, and you can run the app, and will find all channels in your neighborhood that are being used in your area. Now, unless you're living out in the middle of nowhere, some of your neighbors are probably using similar channels.
I bet even the main router wireless access point in the main house, because I've got a separate cable running all the way out here to the shop, but I'm sure that it's got some conflicts, though they're tied in, so they should be alternating channel, but yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
I've
If
got a
you
different router. I just didn't want to put it up there because it's not PoE and this one is, and it's like,
All
I
right.
don't really want to have to climb up there and
Well,
run
what I
wires,
find is
but I
the
probably
thing is
have to.
cause, yeah, what I find the thing is it's it's either the channel, the broadcast channel is being used by other people in your area, and there's only so much bandwidth can go over a channel. So if you find a channel that's not being used by anybody or being used by very few, and change your wireless channel to that channel, you'll be good. You'll be good. Um, and secondly, linking that wireless to your router in your house, chances are auto negotiation, especially on older equipment, of the network port speed is going to go to 10 half duplex. If you force them to 100 megabit full duplex on both the router and on the wireless, your speed will actually increase because you're forcing the speed and duplex on it. Because the auto negotiation on the old systems were really bad.
Yeah,
I
this
used to
thing
do
is
that
well, I
infrastructure.
probably don't even have this thing configured right because it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it was business salvage for one, but two, like the way it wrote a lot of the options, like they just, I never had to worry about, those access points. I always dealt with, if they gave me a switch or a router, it was Cisco based, but
Yeah.
we already had a pre-made configuration that they wanted us to use, so I never really had to like change the options. And these aren't listed like a home router, or access point, so there it gets a little crazy.
Well, I used to design IT infrastructure,
Yeah,
so I
I've been
used to go
trying
in
to
and write
find updated
Python.
firmware, and it's so locked down that
Yeah,
you can't.
yeah. I used to actually go in and program and write by command line the ports and the switches. So I know the Cisco iOS, um, so I actually used to do everything command line in those systems. So and there are a lot of options you can tweak to make it better. But auto negotiation is your enemy, man. And then channel conflicts is the other one for Wi-Fi. But auto negotiation from box to box, that will kill you because in the old equipment it was always auto negotiate down, never up. Whereas the new stuff goes to 1 gig full by default, at least,
Yeah,
unless you're on 10 gig E. But now they default to 1 gig full, never below that, unless you tell them otherwise, which is better.
yeah.
So
Well, it could also be. I had a power short a couple of months ago that it was really strange because the electric cord, because I have my miter saw right out back,
mhm.
and yes, it had been raining for 2 3 days, and I had outdoor rated cords and everything else. Nothing moved that I know of, but somehow like these LED lights above me started like the old flicker when you have a real bad power surge.
Mhm.
And it was like the oddest thing. And I went outside, and sure enough, the electrical cable was like melted apart.
Oh,
Then since then, the PoE router that I have right on the other side of my monitor here, like the main port that I use to connect to the main house, it stays on. It doesn't work, but it stays lit up. So I had to put a different port. But ever since then, like I've always had weird network issues in here.
yeah.
But I've already replaced
I've only got one
everything
PoE
else. That's the
router.
last thing I got to replace is the access point and that PoE switch. So
Yeah, I've only got one PoE switch, and I have an all sky camera. So I 3D printed a lot of the parts, but it's using a Raspberry Pi with a low end astronomy camera, like a guide cam used for guide as a guide scope, and it's pointing at the sky, so you can actually watch the night sky. It updates its image every 30 seconds, and then during the night it takes a whole series of images, and then the next morning it compiles those images into star trails, and it also builds uh, what's it called, a time lapse of all the images for the night. Let me get you the link to it. You can have a look at it yourself. 1 second. Um, just get you a copy of the link in here, and you can
oh.
watch. And it captures airplanes flying
Oh,
over,
but
and
I
it
guess
captures a
since we're
space
kind of
station flying over. Here, I'm just going to post it into chat. You go to that link, and you can actually in that link you can. Oh, you got a
yeah.
lot of printers. I'm jealous. I thought I was doing good with my six,
Unfortunately, yeah. A
but
lot
I
of
don't
it's
have the space. My thing is I
projects
don't
though that
have
I
all
haven't
that
finished.
space. Yeah, yeah. My space is limited,
Well,
but
I never had the space until moving here.
mhm.
My landlord was actually very supportive of putting up insulation, putting up walls, and then said you could do whatever else you want in here. He already had it electrically, but I put in the wall plugs. He just had the wires run. Um, but then I've done everything else in here. He's been supporting all of it. So I mean, it's awesome having really cool landlords that'll help feed the need.
I've got a HOA, so I can't even build on the back in my
Ooh,
backyard. Homeowners association are a scourge.
Ouch.
for people who want to expand. But I would love to have a setup like with an outside building where I could have all my um, like I'd love to build an observatory because I'm into because for the astronomy. I can't. I'd love to build a place for and put lots of my printers out there because the printers I do testing on, I donate them to schools because I don't have space for them. Um, like if it's something like if I got a printer that's something really special, got a really
Right.
cool feature I want to keep, I would I'd hold on to it and maybe swap out something else. But the I have limited space because of that. But I have some good printers. Like there's no doubt about it. I have some nice printers, and I have some nice ones. Like there's some more on the way.
I'm not seeing the link either in the
I posted in the chat.
our StreamYard or on Facebook, but
If you
I don't know
it's
if you
in
sent it that
StreamYard,
way
click
or
on the comments in the upper right hand corner. You don't see that? Let me. It's not in the private chat. It's in the general comments.
still. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, I put it in the general, not in the
There it
private
is.
chat. So that
Okay.
was. So right now that link is showing you.
I'm still learning StreamYard.
Okay. Well, you can see the stars over my house right now on that link. And if when you're in that link along the left hand side, if you click on what looks like a play button, you can actually see the recorded time lapses. You can click on one of them and play the video, and it's a time lapse from each night. There's a new time lapse. Some have got clouds, some have got rain, many of them have got stars.
Oh,
You see
that
it?
is cool.
Yeah, and it's run off a Raspberry Pi.
Oh yeah, that is neat.
Now, if you look on the other options on the left hand side, if you click on them, um, the one that looks like a circle, that's star trails. So you can see all the star trails. And the one above that, it looks like a series like a barcode. That's called a keogram, and the keogram is kind of cool. What the keogram is a series. Each image it takes throughout the night, it goes to the center of the image and takes a 1 pixel strip out of that image and stores it. And then the next image comes along and it takes a 1 pixel strip. So what you're seeing is
Huh.
a whole series of 1 pixel strip to show you the sky quality throughout the whole night. So you can see the gaps where it's clear skies. You
That
can
looks
see
cool
where
too.
it's cloudy when there's clear skies. Now that was designed.
Yeah.
The kilogram was designed for. It's kind of cool. The kilogram was designed to look for northern lights, for aurora. Right? It was designed for northern lights, but in this case, it shows you when the skies are clear and when the skies are not, so you know where in the video to jump around to. Isn't that kind of cool? That's
I'm gonna
power,
have to
and
set up
that's
one of
all
those.
powered over an
That's
Ethernet
pretty
cable.
cool. Kids all like how to do that stuff.
Yeah, I was actually thinking of maybe doing a how-to video of how to build,
Yeah.
because it involves 3D printing. Some of it does, like the holder for the camera, and so it's 3D printed. And it's all run off a PoE hat on a Raspberry Pi, and that runs the camera, that powers the camera, that powers the Pi, and all my data goes over and back across the same cable. It's kind of a cool setup.
Well, actually, and speaking of which, I actually just bought a Pi or PoE Pi hat.
Cool.
And I was just starting to do some testing on it because I wanted to see how it actually works. And now that I finally have one, now I got a good project. So yeah, I'll definitely for that video.
Plug in. Yeah, all it does is plug in, and that's all. It just
pretty cool.
plugs on, and that's it. And there's a couple of screws to hold it in place, and then over your PoE switch, the power goes across. There's three cables. Three of the cables carry the power. Within one is ground, and then the others are used for data, send, receive, and so on in the data line. But it's kind of cool. Now my next step is.
Yeah.
It gets dewed over sometimes. So my next step is to design and make a dew heater that runs over PoE. So I can actually heat under the dome and keep the dew off the dome, power over Ethernet. That's the next thing I'm going to do.
Huh.
Yeah.
This is going to be my current major project.
Ooh, CNC. Are you going to use a router on that?
Yeah, I've got it on the other side because I got to build another table, and I have the one trim router. So, but I just started building the case so I can actually use my my proper dust collection. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I can see your extractor. Yeah,
I just got to get it finished routed because I only went this far, and then so.
Well, but that won't. A dust
I
collector, I don't
moved
think
it
will
in a
pick it up on the
smaller
CNC
frame. I got the
moving.
other pieces down here I got to put together.
Am I correct? Your dust
Say again?
collector will not work with a CNC. It will only take out the fine stuff that's in the air because the heavy stuff is kind of with CNC mills in one spot, so it doesn't throw the material in any one direction. So it's hard for a dust collector to pick it up.
Yeah. Well, my plan is to branch off on the wire and then come down at the top of the box and then do the small hose onto a dust shoe.
Okay,
If I can find a dust shoe that actually fits on my route.
you can make one. You got
But
printers.
if not, I mean, most of the stuff that I've been working with so far has been MDF. It puts a lot of powder in the air anyway, so
Yeah,
that should have no problem picking.
yeah. The dense fiberboard does give a lot of particulates in
But
the air.
then I've got my first attempt, but it was just a heater blower. But then I made a double pipe just because I didn't know what else to do, and then I've got to run that around to the center of the shop where I'm going to have my soldering station, and so it's enough to pick up like smoke. And I have my resin / laser cart here, which is why I kind of had the double. And I was like, well, I already put it, and it just didn't have enough, pull power, but smoke it can pull just fine. So I was like, rather than waste it, I'll just use it for something smaller projects now.
Well, for soldering, you don't need much. You just need a small 12-volt fan would work for soldering out to a duct, but out the wall. But the resin, yeah, you need a bit of power because those things stink. Even the low order resin, like I have the LDR.
I've been lucky enough that
0 to
both
R.
of I actually have the Trunky Ultrabot and an old refurbished, reset to new factory Photon
Okay.
that I was lucky enough that both have an active carbon filter in them. And unless I open it, you actually don't smell like anything.
Well,
It's the
just one
craziest thing.
second.
I thought it was going to be really smelly and like.
Just one second. Whoever's online, if you want to come in and chat with us, you can. Let me just share the link if you haven't seen what's up so far. There is the link right there if you want to come in and chat with us. Just click and make sure you mute your YouTube or Facebook, whichever one you're on, and then click on that link and come in and join us so we don't get any feedback and you come in and join the conversation. But yeah, I have mine. Well, some of them have really good. The LDR, the Creality 002R does not have a good. It has a carbon filter, but it's not good, and the fan extracts the air outside. So I'm actually planning on building and designing and building a larger cartridge that I can actually put in pour in carbon granules into it, like fairly large ones. So then the air can extract out, or the air will stay inside the chamber, but it will actually filter the air inside the chamber. So the fan will actually sit underneath and draw the air down through the carbon and then spit it back out at the end. That's what I'm planning to do. Because right now it extracts it outside of the container, out of the printer, and that's why there's a smell from it. So if I can keep it under the hood and actually increase the filtration by putting in let's say 50 or 80 centimeter high filter with lots of carbon in it, activated carbon, that should eliminate any odor from it, and then I can use it indoor without ease, or with ease. But right now I'm not using it in the winter because it stinks. I have to design that and test it. If it works, then I can start using it more and more in the winter inside, because otherwise it's sitting on a shelf during the winter. I do my printing in my basement.
Yeah.
My basement is my
So
3D printer.
far, this
Yeah.
is kind of what
What
I've
do you
built
use
so
as a
far.
wash station?
Kind of everything's junky right at the moment, but I got the. Say again?
What do you use to as a wash station?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
As a station
Oh,
to clean
this
clean the print.
ultrasonic cleaner.
Okay. Oh, is that a Harbor Freight special? It is. Is it?
No, it was just a regular Amazon one, and then I found out that Harbor Freight sells the same thing, but I got it for like $5 cheaper at one time it was on sale.
Well, $5 is $5,
But
right?
then I have a.
Oh, you have a mirrored
So I got it with the UV lamp, and then I built. Yeah, and then normally I have my little dish in there.
I have the
And
snowball one, the curing station. Yeah.
I'm all over the place here, but so I mean, it lights up pretty good. It's a 80 watt, no, 60 watt.
So
Got it
6 minutes
super
in there
easy.
and you're done.
So, but I just kind of throw it in there.
Yeah. No, I
Yeah,
have the
pretty much.
snowball curing station.
But again, it's already got the holes in the back, so all I really got to do is finish piping it down the wall and then kind of half enclose it under the back breathing hole so that it already, like, the exhaust is already set right up towards the hole in the back that I got all the cables.
Yeah.
But funny enough, both of these boards, they're Chitu based. The Trunksy one already had the network cable enabled. The Photon one, I had to do a mod, but then I put right back to the same factory screen after I enabled the network. But then I just have it going over my switch so I can actually send all my resin jobs over my network through the Chitu slicer straight to the machine for that USB. It's been like
That's
one of
nice.
the coolest things that I've been playing with here recently.
Yeah, that's nice. So what type of what other projects do you work on?
Mostly it's stuff for the kids. I print pretty much whatever they want to print just to kind of learn. Other than that, I print like part upgrades for various different printers, try out new things, see if I kind of like it. And then like Christmas gifts, little holiday, gift items, stuff like that. Just kind of play around with it. I really enjoy the technology of the 3D printing and just the fact that you can make stuff. So I've made little knickknack pieces around the house just to do it really for no other reason, just to say that I did it. They don't really mean a whole lot or something that you can't turn around and buy, but I just think it's cool. So
Do you do what material do you mostly use?
Mostly just PLA, just because it's easy and cheap. I do have a couple of let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, about 5 different colors, but 7, 8 spools of like PETG, and I've got like 4 or 5 TPUs. So I've been just kind of playing around with stuff. But I ended up a roll of PA that took me forever to figure out that it's basically like nylon. So I'm
Yeah,
excited to
and
try
you
that
have to
now.
dry it.
I don't even know how I got it. I don't know if it was. I thought it was like a misbrand because when I first got it and I asked the community, I was like, "What in the world is PA?" And they were like, "You sure you don't mean PDA?" I'm like, "No, no, no, no. There's no missing letter. Like, what is just PA? Because I'm not seeing it from the manufacturer." And they were like, finally, like a week or two later, they go, "Oh, that's nylon." Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now the
I guess I
problem
need
with
all metal
nylon is
hot
that,
now, so I play with that. So,
well, you know the issues with nylon, right?
oh yeah,
You need
I got it actually sitting in my homebrew version of a print dry filament dryer.
what I recommend
So I just took
is,
a regular one and made my own label with match up
yeah,
pictures,
but
and then I put a
no,
timer on it.
if you're going to do nylon printing, you'll need something like that with um a bearing inside, so the spool will rotate, and put one of those pneumatic couplers that you have in your printer
Okay.
onto the side, and run a Bowden tube from that to your printer. The reason why I say that is, and use it on a Bowden printer only, because going from
Okay.
the spool to the nozzle, even if it's only 2 feet away, right, or or a foot away, nylon will absorb water. In a space of 6 inches to a foot, nylon will absorb
Wow.
water
I
and
didn't know it was that
dry
bad.
your prints. And you need a non-metal hot end for
Holy
nylon
moly.
because it's
Okay.
abrasive. So what you do with the cure for it is get your filament dryer, put your nylon in a filament dryer, and dry it first of all. Dry it like crazy first of all for a couple of hours. Have a coupler on your dryer on the outside, on the wall of the filament dryer. Drill it and put a coupler on there, a pneumatic coupler. Run a
Right.
Bowden from that up into your printer, and then from your down in, and if you have Bowden all the way, even better, down into your nozzle. Right, so Bowden to your extruder, and then Bowden from the extruder down to the nozzle, because you cannot expose it to. So you're drying it, you're keeping it warm while you print. Because if you don't, it will absorb water in this 12 inches from your spool to your nozzle. It's going to, or the spool to your extruder. If you're running on a Bowden, it will absorb water. It is notorious. You have to keep it dry constantly.
Wow.
Um, and also another helpful hint
Okay. Good to
is if
know.
you don't want to run the heater all the time, you can turn it off, dry it, turn it off, but put lots of desiccant packs and seal your put a cover over to see to stop the it absorbing or bringing in fresh air. That way, then it's the desiccant packs will absorb the water,
Okay.
the moisture in the air after it's dried, and then you can print. And then maybe each day, while if you're running a long print, turn it on each day to re-dry it before you print again. Or let's say if you're doing a print for, or if you can put a timer. Here's a good idea: get a smart plug and put a timer on your use a smart plug and plug in your dehydrator into the smart plug, and have it come on once your filament is dry. Have it come on every hour for 10 minutes, and go off again at the right temperature, and repeat that process, and it will keep the material dry continuously while you're doing long prints. Nylon's a pain. It's a real pain in the butt to deal with. And I'm being polite when I say the words pain in the butt. I have a lot of
Okay.
other more colorful adjectives I could probably use, but pain in the butt is me being nice. A lot more colorful language I could use to describe it.
Yeah.
It is a pain.
Well,
So,
it's not like I don't have enough yeah, and it's not like I don't have enough printers now to kind of help in case it's really
yeah,
problematic, then I can at least dedicate a machine to go through those troubles and then use the others.
it's a good idea. So
But
whoever
yeah,
joined,
no,
whoever
good
else is on
tips.
there, yeah, whoever's on there who wants to come in and join, the StreamYard link is posted in chat if you in the chat. So click on mute your YouTube or your Facebook, whichever you're using. Click on the StreamYard link so we don't have feedback, and come in and join the conversation. We're just talking about printing and fun stuff. And Techie Dad has a whole pile of fun stuff in his house. Oh, hey Jerry, come in and join us. Apparently YouTube had a problem. I don't know
Saying
why.
YouTube is working again.
Yeah. Come in and join us, Jerry.
Huh.
Now, I did check out YouTube and it did say error, and now and it's back working. So it must be on the YouTube side because this has been streaming, or it could be StreamYard. I'm not sure, but it was giving an error earlier on, and Facebook's been working fine. So are you going to join us, Jerry? I joined Jerry's streams a lot recently. I hang out with Jerry a lot. You know Jerry? You do, yeah?
I've been kind of disconnected from the community for a little bit. Kind of had I needed to take a mental break from everything for a little bit. So yeah, I forgot a lot of people's names. I know the channel names and I've seen them before. I just don't, I don't remember everybody's personal name anymore. Too many with work. But yeah.
So let's see if Jerry joins.
Well, unfortunately, I'm probably going to need to dip out here in a minute.
Okay.
Going to have to get the kids down for bed and wrap up some stuff. So,
where are you based?
But it's awesome hanging out. I love this stuff. I'm in the U.S. I'm in Arkansas.
Oh, I'm in the U.S. as well.
Right in the Midwest. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Can't you tell by the accent?
Well, honestly, the accent threw me off. I wasn't exactly sure. The first time that I saw you, I didn't connect. You're part of one of our other groups. But I couldn't place like the accent, and I was like,
I'm Irish.
I wonder where this guy is from.
Yeah,
it's cool Irish, accent.
I live in Michigan.
Couldn't figure out where it was.
Yeah. But there's Jerry. Let's bring Jerry in.
One of the first groups that I hung out with.
Hey, Techie Daddy, how you doing? Hey, Liam.
Hey,
one of the first groups that I used to hang out with, we had a kid from Ireland, and he was like streaming.
Yeah, you have a
Hello,
big lag in your network.
Yeah, I've got my camera in kind of a weird position. I've been filming some videos, so I've got it up in a different spot. It's not right down here in front of me, so I just kind of angled it down.
Jerry. I'm saying Techie Daddy, he's got a lag of about 5 seconds or 10 or 8 seconds in your network.
Where you at, Techie Daddy? I live in Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's access point.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that, I'm gonna go ahead and dip out, and y'all have a wonderful. I'm gonna try to keep listening, but yeah, I might get the kids down to bed, and yeah, hopefully get this network figured out. So
well, if you
have a good evening.
If you need networking help, give me a shout. Have a good evening.
Will do. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Take care, man.
And then there were two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got your PM earlier, and then I went on to see what you were doing, and then the internet was down. I clicked on a bunch of different videos, and nothing would run anywhere.
I think YouTube were having problems because my feed was showing live on my side, but when I went to YouTube, it gave an error. So I think they were having problems, or maybe StreamYard were having problems feeding out. But I'm not one or the other. If you were seeing issues elsewhere, then but other internet was working, it could have been YouTube were having issues tonight.
Walmart's having a Black Friday special, as everybody is, and they had a really giant 4K 55-inch TV for $149. And I understand it's going to be basically junk at $149, but it said at 8:30 Eastern we're going to have more. So I sat there and I kept refreshing and refreshing. 5:30 my time, they popped back up. I threw it in the cart. I checked out, and then the next thing you know, it says I checked out, but it still shows a can of spray paint I have in the cart, but the TV's gone. So I try to do it again, and they're sold out. And my son was telling me that there's a lot of programs out there that people have designed that when a minute something goes on sale faster than you can click and buy it, that program will go buy everything and kind of screw everybody instantly.
Well, there's some of that, but I think as well what often happens is when big sales like that come out, the the company like Walmart or whoever it is, their infrastructures they have set up gets overloaded and that crashes. I've seen it happen a lot of times because they haven't designed their infrastructure to take that load.
Yeah.
So that does happen a lot.
But the second time I tried to buy it, then I got a big thing on the screen that said they were sold out. But the first time it looked like a processed. I didn't have that error. It's like, where to go? But anyway, that's life. No biggie.
Well, there'll be more of them coming up for Thanksgiving.
Check this out.
Oh, that's nice.
Walter White.
Sweet.
Fotis Mint designed that. And I'm testing out some giant arm filament from Sunlu, or from G-Tech, excuse me. Giant arm filament. It's a G-Tech company, and I'm printing some things for a video, and this is one of them. And here's another one I got here I can show you. This is the first time. I haven't posted pics anywhere, so everybody's seeing it first here on Liam's channel.
Oh, sweet. Oh, nice. Jason.
Yeah. And I'm resin printing Jason also on my Elegoo Mars, and I've got a Frankenstein bust and some others. I'm working on 2 different videos. I hope to get fixed tomorrow or get them.
Nice.
And then I got a Darth Vader, but I have all the supports are still on him.
Oh, okay.
Got to strip all the supports off of him. But yeah, lots of goodies.
Nice. Well, by the way, remember the Soval meeting thing tomorrow night starts at 8:00, not 9, because they changed it. They asked me to move the time.
Okay.
And next week we have I'll be chatting with Maker Pi. Have you dealt with them before?
Maker Pi?
Yeah, they make 3D printers.
Oh, okay. I'm not familiar.
Yeah, so I'll be talking with them next week. And the 1st or the 3rd of next month, I have IC3D. You know those guys?
I don't know them, but I know of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually going to be chatting with it's either be either the COO or the CEO, one or the other. I'll be chatting with on that weekend. With I spoke with them today, and they want to come on. And they're not just filaments either. They're actually making big printers for industry.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the big talk right now is IDEX. They're building big IDEX.
Wow.
I mean, giant size IDEX. These things are like, we all want a 1 meter. Well, they're going bigger than that.
I finally got a K40 coming in the mail.
Oh, you did? From where?
Omtech. Oh, Omtech laser. I was on one of the groups, and this lady had just bought one. They're out of the U.S. selling Chinese products, obviously. And they got like a 2-year warranty on them. And she had a discount code that I entered, and it saved me like $45. So I've got it, instead of paying, and it's the same one they want on Amazon for $4.99. So I looked at the ones that are listed on Amazon. This is the one that's $4.99. Their price is like $4.32, and with the discount, I got it for $3.83 shipped.
Nice.
So that was a good deal. And I'm trying to find a deal on my Cohesion 3D board. I'm trying to find somebody who might have a discount code with that company. I didn't contact him. It's kind of hard to do that with a lot of companies, but I attempted a contact, and I put out a feeler asking if anybody had a code for them. So I want to get their Cohesion board so I can run Lightburn, because the one that's coming with the printer, I can't run Lightburn.
Did you try to reach out to the company themselves?
If you
talk about it on this channel, they might give you. They may work with you on a deal. If you document how to do the upgrade.
Yeah, I've been trying. I try to do that with a printer. I've contacted a few companies, like I do with printer companies, saying, "Hey, I'm Jerry Knapp with 3D printing and painting, and I want to do this, 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 and this." And no one got back with me after 3 or 4 days. So I kind of gave up and just ordered one.
Go through their Facebook page. Find them on Facebook. Their company Facebook or their groups that they have as support groups. Like, the worst they can do is like to give you a discount, but if you might get a good rate if you offer to do a how-to upgrade, because you're getting the what printer is it again? The C or the laser, the C40, is it?
Yeah, the K40. Yeah,
K40. So you might get they might say, okay, well, if you're going to advertise how to do this, it'll help them sell more boards. So worth trying, reach out to the guys. The worst, like you might get a discount. They might sell it to you at a decent discount.
Yeah, Friday I've got Ron the Happy Extruder on, and
I
he's been at a
haven't- I
bunch of
haven't
maker
watched this
fairs.
stuff.
He does tons and tons of stuff like this from Photos Mint. He just has tons and tons of projects and different things he's working on. So he'll be on Friday afternoon. I think it's 4 p.m. Pacific. Yeah, 4 p.m. Either 4 or 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm having him
I'll
on.
fine tune into that one because I seem to be I like to join your streams. So yeah, no, I'm not a modeler really myself. I'm not into that. Oh, how's your Ghostbusters car coming along? Ecto 1.
It's primered gray, and I got to do a lot of sanding on it. I need to do a lot of work on it. But I've been working on my room and this and that and working on a couple videos. I primered the back half of it today. I need to do a lot of sanding and putting on it. So, but everything's printed.
I saw your Stay Puff. Now that you have such a big car, you have to print a bigger Stay Puff now to be in scale.
Yeah, he'd have to be as tall as me, though. Yeah, Chaos Cortec, his wife, I done this one, and it was over on Bangs.com. I think it's called Bangs. That's where she had this at. It's pretty cool, little Stay Puff guy. So that's why I set him in front of the car. It's free to download and print. It's kind of like a Mr. Bill. Oh, no. And then he gets run over. So I figured I'll take him standing in front of the car like, oh, no. And then I put him in front of Chris Warcocky, and where's Joe Telling at? I got a Joe Telling here.
Oh, you have Joe?
Yeah, right here. He's like, oh no! I posted on Twitter like that. All three of them.
I'll tell you what you do. You sit Joe on top of the roof of Ecto 1.
Yeah. As it's driving around.
Love that one if you do that for him.
Remember the Crypt Keeper from me as a kid?
Yeah.
That Photos Mint done that also. That's the original Crypt Keeper. I seen this show came back on HBO or some channel a few weeks ago, and they're using a cartoon version of it instead of a Muppet or a puppet, and has a totally different look. It doesn't look like the original. This is from the original one. It's original.
The original Crypt Keeper was good.
And that's with a white PLA from Giant Arm also.
Nice.
And Sobel got a hold of me, or I got a hold of them during the stream, and I realized that she was in my group for quite a while, and I got a hold of her, and they want me to test their flexible build mats for the Elegoo Mars, which I can't since I already have a Wham Bam on. I can't test theirs.
Yeah.
You get two for the price of one type deal. And then they have two resin bats that you put little plastic covers on like Tupperware, and I can test those, but I can't test the mats. So obviously, I'm not going to peel off my magnet to test the new product, and I only have the one resin printer. Yeah. And I said, if you have any resin printers or printers you want me to review, let me know.
I have the Creality LD002R. But I don't think their flexible plate will fit it. I need to double check the size, but I don't think their plate will fill it. I don't think it's the right fit.
I'll just turn my volume up.
So I have to check that out. I'll check it out and I'll reach out to Heidi and I'll say to her, the other guys over there. So they're going to be on tomorrow night with me anyway, but I'll see, because if it'll fit, I'll offer to do a review for them. But I don't know if it will or not. I think they're made for the Anycubics and so on. I don't think they'll fit the Creality.
What are you talking about?
The flexible plates.
Okay, I'm not sure.
Yeah, but Creality have come up with flexible plates as well. They've just announced them recently.
If they have the coating on spring steel, they're awesome. If they got it on like a little flimsy mat, they're not that nice.
No, they're all spring steel now. They're doing spring steel as well.
All right,
because they were talking about it the other night on their feed for the CR30, which is the belt printer.
Yeah,
they have a giveaway coming up. If you're part of the Creality user group, they have a giveaway coming up. And they're going to pick randomly from the user group, and someone's going to get a CR30 to do a review on it.
Wow. Yeah, I've contacted my rep many times wanting to review a CR30, but they said I'll put your name in, but I doubt that they're going to give you one, but they'll let you know.
No, they will, other than that random selection, the majority of them will go, like any CR30s, they've gone out to the big boys already. Like I know Joel has got one. He's been doing some reviews on the CR30, the unboxing and setup and so on.
That's going to be a production machine only. And then once they get the bugs worked out, because the print quality isn't perfect. It's good. It's not perfect.
Yeah.
It's going to be for production parts only. You could never print statues and stuff on it. I don't think the quality's never going to be there, I think, where I could sit there and print a whole bunch of mini Jasons. The quality's not going to be there.
I think
it might.
I think you can tune it to get it there. But the issue is that you're going to run in, because it prints at 45 degree, it's nozzle at 45 degree. It's going to lay material down, and it has no definitive wall. Normally, the outer edge of the filament that's been laid becomes its wall.
Yes.
But it's injecting it into what should be the wall. So getting a smooth wall wherever for the outer layer wherever it starts. Like when Joel did a benchy, and he did the benchy with the back of the benchy as a starting point, and the back wall looked atrocious.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else looked okay. But it's because it had to have material to lay against first.
Mm-hmm.
Once material was laid against, it was fine. And the other issue he ran into was the belt was, and when he was printing parts, he'd reach a certain point and the part would shift, because the belt is flexible, right? It's not solid. It's not rigid. And so I think if you're running into parts where it's high, you're going to have some pressure on certain areas of it, and you're going to have some shifts in the part. So they need to figure out a way to solve that. I think they need something around the edge of the belt, keeping tension on the belt to keep it rigid and taut.
Yeah.
In not only front to back, but on the x-axis as well. And if that was done, if they could tension it sideways in some way, like make the edge of it rigid, like a plastic belt or something going around the edge to make it solid. That could bend a little bit, but would bend. Have you seen the flexibles like you use in the bands for kids? You put on there and you hit their hand and it wraps around and locks on. Something like that would bend around, but would not flex this way, and that would add rigidity to the edge of the belt. Now, if you could do something like that, now you have tension on the outward of the belt, and you'd probably stop some of that flexure on the soft material, I'm guessing.
Yeah, every time I go live, I usually sit there for an hour and I talk to myself with whoever's in stream, and I just keep rattling and babbling, and eventually somebody joins in.
Yeah, I was a half an hour before someone joined in. Some people came on and went off because, but it's my first one. This is my first ever Hangout. So
well, that's how it goes. That's how they go. Just to let you know, you usually talk to yourself for a long time, and people pop in. Yeah, post it on Twitter, post it on my Facebook group. You're welcome to.
Yeah,
and YouTube and whoever, and then people they come. It takes time. It just builds up. I don't have that many people that watch me, but eventually I'll get more and more and more. So
I have I've actually exceeded 100 subscribers to YouTube, but I have more followers on Facebook. I have huge amount of hours of watching the interview that I did last week.
Yeah,
a couple of 100 hours of it being watched, which is fantastic. And on YouTube, I had something like 20 people or 25 people watch there. Because a lot of people hear about it on Facebook and they stay there and I'd rather share it across multiple media. There's good and bad in that. Like if you share across like Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, there's going to be a spread of people watching it on all of them, right? Whereas what a lot of the guys who are serious YouTubers who make their money on YouTube, people like Joel and other serious big time reviewers and influencers, those guys, they push everyone to one media type, and they don't do live on Facebook. They only go YouTube. They do everything out there, and that's fine, and that works for them. But like to me, it's not about making money. It'd be nice if I could recoup the money to pay for StreamYard, because it's $250 a year.
I'm paying monthly, $25 a month, but it's a better deal if you pay all up front. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, but it'd be nice to recoup some of that. But other than that, it's I have another service that I use for streaming, but if it's just me, because they haven't added the ability to invite people into the stream yet.
Yeah, I use OBS when I tape all my videos.
Well, I don't. I use different stuff, but when I'm streaming on my own, I use VideoLink, because if it's just me, VideoLink is great.
Okay.
If I'm, but they're adding the feature next year to do the conversation, like the chat, and they're adding the feature to invite people into your streams. But it's not, they haven't done it yet. But
Mhm.
I got it on AppSumo um, for $49
Mhm.
for a lifetime subscription.
Okay.
So once they add those features, I'm set. So I only have maybe 12 months of using StreamYard, which is works great, but I have 12 months, and then after that, then I can invite people into the other thing, and it's already there, it's existing. I
Yeah, I
just
got a clog on my TiVo earlier, and I've never had my TiVo clogged before. I looked over; it's printing in midair. I'm
really,
printing the Winter Soldier on it from, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and
yeah.
I'm using the white filament from Giant Arm. Yeah, it was doing great, and then it wasn't, so I cleared it, and it's fine now. So I don't know. Just occasionally things happen.
Oh, it does. No matter how well something prints, you're always going to get clogged at some point or another.
Yeah.
I've had my SVO1 print in there a few times, which is rare for a direct drive, but I've had it happen.
Hmm.
Um, I've had my Ender 5 Plus, and it wasn't because of a clog; it's because a part fell over because I didn't have enough support on it, which does happen now and again. I've had it print over because I was printing really small, thin parts for my rockets, like um, these support struts,
Yeah.
right? And I printed them upright, and they fell over, so I eventually printed them lying down, and I sanded them clean. But I put very little support on them, but still, I sanded them off, and they came out great.
Yeah.
But there and these as well. These are printed standing upright like that with a skirt.
Hmm.
So stuff like that happens. But there's no way you can ever print forever and not have a clog or not have um, a failed print.
Do
They're
you have
rare.
Do you have a resin printer?
I have, yeah, the Creality one.
Okay, I've got the Elegoo Mars. I've had it for a year. I've replaced the screen twice. And yesterday, I had a problem with the print, and I went to raise it so I could take off the build plate because it was down in the back too far, and the button wasn't working. It's like, what the hell? The buttons always work. So I turned it off, waited a little bit, turned it on, then they worked. But I come to find out, I read in the group, I made a post and nobody answered it, but then I started reading in the search bar. Instead of the button working right here, it's working down here. For some reason, I pushed below the button about a quarter of an inch, and then it works. So on all of them, I don't know if something shifted inside or what happened, but if I go off the button and then it works. So I don't know what's going on.
Um, Try reflashing the firmware. You may need to replace the screen.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
not
just odd
sure.
that happened. I've
Yeah,
never had trouble. I mean, I printed probably 200 things on it in the last
yeah,
year, and just out of the blue, if you hit the little round thing like on a vacuum cleaner, that don't work. So I got to drop down a little bit where there's nothing, and then okay, now it works.
yeah. So the screens do go bad. The touch screens eventually go bad. The sensor on them. So switching them out is not a huge deal to do so. Just get the same one.
I made a Jason Voorhees, and he looks like a Muppet because somehow I got resin under my FEP and it cut his mouth open. It's still printed, but it's like this. It looks just like a Muppet. So I want to go ahead and show that in the video and talk about it, but I don't know how I got. So I took off the vat, and it's like, wow, I dumped out the vat. I cleaned it. I checked it. The vat's fine. Somehow resin got underneath it, and it was on the screen, and it cured. But luckily, my fingernail, it scratched right off. So I was able to get it off the screen. I cleaned it with some cleaner. I use spray away glass cleaner. It's a foam action. That's how I clean all my resin. I clean the vat with it, my tools, everything. I use spray away, window cleaner, and it foams up, and then I just wipe away all the resin, throw it away. It's good to go.
Yeah. And how often do you use clean your vats?
Well, sometimes I might do 4, 5, 6 prints. I take the plastic spatula after a print. If the print looks like it didn't lose any parts, I run it through the vat slowly and see if I can fill anything. And if it's good to go and the model looks like it didn't lose anything, I dump in more resin and keep printing. If I think I lost something, then I have to take it out, dump it out, scrape it, wipe it out, re-oil it with 3-in-1 PTFE lube, and then I put it back in. But
I don't oil mine.
yeah, I put oil in it and I wipe it out. I use a blue shop towel or a tissue would work. Something soft. You don't want a paper towel that's rough and scratch your plastic.
Yeah.
So I use something soft and I wipe it out. But typically I don't change a vat that often. I don't clean it unless I think I might have got debris in it.
Yeah. And the filter papers, all you have to do is pour it back into the bottle, filter it out,
Yeah.
and then you're good to go again.
Yeah.
And they're cheap. You can get them for a hundred of them or something for like $10 or $5 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm using a Sunlu resin that they sent me, a big giant bottle. It's in like looks like a rocket ship. It's stainless steel, nice looking bottle, but the cap came out and the cap has a crack in the top of it. So once you remove that and you pull out the safety cap, if you was to shake it up, resin's going to go everywhere. So I put a blue glove over it with a rubber band, and that doesn't work very well, but that's something I contacted the rep about. They know they have a problem, but they got a lot of caps floating around going out to people that have a crack on the top, and you can't shake it up with that crack, obviously. You need to glue it or do something with the cap.
Yeah. Well, is it cap plastic or is it metal?
It's plastic.
Get what's it called? The not liquid metal. It's a
JB Weld?
JB Weld on the outside of it.
Yeah.
And that will seal it, and that should be good.
Yeah, I thought about putting super glue on it or something, but I don't know how to react.
Yeah, JB Weld should be fine, I think.
Yeah.
Because you're going to still use a safety cap inside anyway, aren't you? The plastic seal. Oh, no, I keep those. I always keep those.
Okay, yeah, I threw mine out. It's like a plunger. You grab it with your finger and you pop it out. And I mentioned in the video, people wear gloves, wear your glasses when you pull these out, just in case you splash yourself. You don't want to get resin in your eyes or anything.
Yeah, I'll be very careful when you wiggle it out, gently, because you will splash, but you have to wear gloves because resin is nasty stuff.
Yeah, I've got resin on my hands before. It doesn't automatically instantly burn or anything, but you should always wear gloves and be safe. But I finally, after about a year, I finally tested some resin and just started messing with things. It didn't burn me. It didn't bother me. I worked with it for about 5 minutes, and I went and cleaned my hands, washed them really good with soap and water. They were fine.
You're fine for 5 minutes.
But I'm just saying but you shouldn't tell people that's fine.
No, I never do.
Gloves and glasses, but if you get it on you, it's not like lava. You're not instantly going to start screaming and burn your skin.
No, you'll find out the next day.
Yeah.
If you leave it on you for a while.
Yeah.
Like some guy did a video that he was cleaning up he does a lot of resin printing. He was cleaning up his work area and he moved printers around and stuff. And he got resin on his clothes, and he ignored it because it was on his clothes, and he kept working, in and out into the sun and so on, so it actually dried.
Oh wow!
The next morning, he had 3rd-degree burns on his skin from the resin.
Wow! Yeah.
And the worst thing is, it doesn't only attack the skin; it can actually attack your immune system. Resin can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nasty stuff. You have to be protected with it. I don't do a lot of resin. I do some, but not an awful lot.
Yeah, I'm very careful. I'm very careful working with it.
Yeah, you must be. That stuff.
I treat it like it's electricity. Just be very careful. Take your time. Do the right steps.
Yeah, or a vat of acid. Treat it like it's a bottle of hydrochloric acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the stuff is bad, but you get some fantastic prints out of it.
Yeah,
there's a big bonus with it too. It's messy, but you get an amazing quality. Like if you want to do a chest set, if you want to do something that's fine detail, that's pretty much a finished job, right? Minus a few little tiny bit of little sanding to get little bumps off from the supports.
I'll grab a couple prints that I'm going to be in my video and I'll show you.
Oh, cool.
I haven't cured these yet because that's a different part of my video. But here's Muppet Jason.
Oh, nice. It still looks good, though.
Ooh, water coming out of it. But anyway, see how the mouth is tore up?
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and keep that, and I'm going to cure it, but it looks like a Muppet. But I printed another one that came out good. It's got water in it still. Because after I clean them with green bean, I soak them in green bean, then I soak them my alcohol bath, IPA, and then I rinse them out with water really good, and then I dry them.
Yeah, but even then, they're still. You shouldn't ideally handle them until they've been cured.
Yeah.
But did you try putting the mean green into a Ziploc and then putting that into your because you use an ultrasonic cleaner, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't try it like that.
Yeah. So put water in the ultrasonic.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead and tell me what you're saying. I remember you telling me about it, and somebody else did too.
Yeah. Well, you put water into your ultrasonic cleaner, and then get a gallon Ziploc bag, pour in the mean green to the gallon Ziploc bag, and then put your print in there and take the air out of it and close it, and then you turn on your ultrasonic, because the ultrasonics will go through into the mean green inside.
Okay.
But it keeps your ultrasonic cleaner clean unless the bag breaks, and so you're actually protecting your investment in your cleaner, and you don't end up with this green scum at the bottom of your ultrasonic cleaner that you have to run and chisel out.
By putting the mean green in a bag with a part, then all the gunk is staying in the bag with the mean green, and it's still going to build up and go bad. The ultrasonic cleaner, when it settles, if you've seen it, it'll look like a pond. It'll be green with all kinds of white gook down at the bottom. And I carefully try to take a coffee cup and scoop it out, but then it disturbs the bottom and it mixes it all up fairly quick. So I've tried to separate it, and when I separate it, then I dump out the bad stuff. But yeah.
But in the bag, you can do multiple parts, but when you see it getting bad, now you take away the bag, just get another one, and then obviously you let it, you put it in a container, leave it outside, let it dry out.
Yeah.
So it becomes safe, and then you can eventually dump it, right?
Yeah.
But it's at least it's in the bag, and you can have a slop bucket that you pour the stuff into as you dump.
Do you think the little tiny minute bit of resin that's left in a print that you rinse out in the mean green is any more harsh than, let's say, Clorox or acid you clean your toilet with?
Clorox is safer than resin.
True.
You can pour Clorox in your hands, and all it will do is take away your tan, and then turn the hairs in your hand white, right? But you do that with resin, even and you leave it there for a while. If you don't get rid of it immediately, I wouldn't. What I would do is when I left over, like the gunk, is I put it into a container, and I leave the container outside and let it evaporate.
Yeah.
Out of it, and because it's outside, the plastic goes hard.
Okay.
And then when it's hard, then you can either just let it keep building up and eventually throw away the container, which is one way of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Or the other way of doing it is some people leave it till it's gunky at the bottom of the container, swash it around so it's actually more liquid, mix it up, and pour it out on a sheet of plastic, and then let it dry off on a large sheet of plastic, like heavy grade plastic.
Yeah.
And it's dry, and then just when it's hard, then it's safe. Until it's hardened, it's not safe.
Okay. Then I won't tell you how I usually dispose of it.
Okay. Well, I'd let mine dry.
Yeah.
I leave it out in the daylight. In winter, that's hard to get clear skies here in Michigan, but
I'll try that.
And with the heat where you are, it would dry out very fast. Like even the mean green would actually evaporate out of it, and the gunk would all be left.
Mm-hmm.
And the resin, the sunlight will go through the gunk, and harden the resin on the bottom. Yeah, I don't have that. In my winter here, we get negative 36 sometimes. So yeah, you never see those temperatures.
Where were you at? I don't remember.
Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. All right.
Yeah. When we
anywhere near Flint?
I'm south of Flint. I'm about an hour south of Flint.
Okay. Yeah. Did you have any water problems like they did?
Nope. I'm nowhere near that area.
Oh, that's good.
No. Yeah, that was a mess. That was a complete mess. No, I'm naturally like this. It's not the water. I was born like this. But yeah, it is crazy what happened with those guys with that. It's just bad. Should never have happened.
Yeah, so, I'm gonna take all my paints in my other room that I have lined up in the little trays I bought for nail polish. I need to put my K40 up there, so I'm gonna build a rack on this one wall. The outside of my house, there's a master bathroom on the back side, and the wall kind of sticks out funny. It goes out like this, and it's flat. I'm gonna put shelves in the flat part, and I'll put all those racks on there. And then I got room to put the K40 up. I thought about putting it on the ground, but then the doggy door is right by it, and I don't want the dogs to walk up to the screen, even with the cover on it, sniffing it or looking at it, because they might see something. So I'm going to keep it up on the table.
Do you have an exhaust coming? You'll need to have an exhaust coming off it.
Yeah, I'm going to punch a hole in the wall I built.
And put an extractor fan on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need that.
If the fan that comes with it isn't strong enough to pull everything out, then I'll add an aftermarket one.
Yeah, I would. You get one of the extractors you use in the bathroom.
Okay.
Get one of those and mount it on the outside the wall, and put the louver covers. You know the louver
Yeah.
covers.
Yeah, I don't want any ants or critters crawling in it, so I'll put something with covers on it.
Yeah, the louvers are fine. And then what you do is well, obviously you get a lot more critters than we would, right? But we get some, but you get a lot more because you're always fairly warm weather down there.
Yeah.
So you obviously treat around the house and stuff. You just spray around so nothing goes in and out. But you should be good. I'd put a mesh inside in it.
Yeah, something real fine.
And then put a cover over it, the louver cover over it. That's how you do it. And that's
I don't want to have any bees in there flying around my print. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they wouldn't last very long in there.
They'll fly under the laser and poosh.
Yeah. What was it? The movie They Call Me Bruce, when he pretended to be Bruce Lee. And yeah, with the sword that fly, when he takes the wings off the fly. Yeah, the laser will do it for you. So what's after Ecto 1? What's your next big project?
I'm working on the Ghostbuster car. That's going to take a couple months. And then I got a couple videos I'm working on now. I just showed you a bunch of the prints. I tried out Sunluz resin and their curing station. It's a little $50 box. It's got a turntable in it and a single light. The one that I built has UV lights all the way around it. And this one just has a single light. It's all white. It radiates off all sides very well and reflects on the inside, which I didn't think it would. And it's good for small prints. You know, it's for things like this, it's perfect. Obviously, this big thing you can't put in it if you built something big in resin. But something about this tall, if this was resin, you could put this in there.
Yeah.
So
I have the Soval one. I have the Soval resin curing station.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically you have a stand with a photosensitive, photoelectric sensors on it, and a small 3-inch turntable is all it is. But that's enough to do any print. And but it'll take that large print that you showed there, and the lights are actually in the cover, so the cover comes down over the part, so it surrounds it. And there's lights, there's 3 sets of lights, and there's lights in the ceiling of it as well.
And then I took all my printers from underneath the counter behind me where I have all models now, and I moved them up all on the lined up. Now it looks more like a business or something because they're not all under the shelf. They're all up top lined up. My Creality Beat, my newest Creality printer, I had to put on another card cable because it wouldn't fit up here. But I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. And then my 9th one is over here, my CR10 in an enclosure. And then my resin printer's out there. My laser is going to go out there. And then one of these days, I really wanted to get a bigger resin printer right now. I got a new credit card, and I didn't want to spend it, but I want to get a K40 because I got myself convinced it can make me money if I learn how to use it making things and selling them. So I figured, well, all my prints I have now, I rarely ever sell them. I don't make hardly any money. It's really cool, but it's just stuff. Mm-hmm. But the K40 might make me money, so let's go ahead and get the K40 and see where we can go with it before I get a bigger resin printer.
I'm like you. I don't make money out of my printers. I make stuff and I donate it.
Yeah.
If I could make money out of it, would I? Probably.
Yeah.
But I work full-time job, so it's different for me because you're retired. But I work full-time job, so having the time to run a business that does that is hard. Kind of, even though I work at home and my printers are in the room next door, so I could always go in and out and check and stuff. It's easy now. There's work involved, right? And I don't know if I've had the time for it now. If someone asked me to make something for them and charge them for it, sure, I'd do it. And if there was a demand out there for something specific that I'd done, But a lot of what I do, I tend to donate stuff. I do get donations of filament, which I use to make the stuff that I donate away. Mm-hmm. So it's the net value it works out as 0. But it'd be nice to do commission stuff or whatever. But it's not a big push for me. I can do laser, I can do CNC, I can do all of that stuff, but I don't have a requirement to do it right now.
Yeah, my retirement doesn't pay all my bills, and I can't afford my hobby, so I need to make money selling something I just need to get out there and do it. And I haven't done much of it. I've sold a few things here and there, but I need to get an Etsy store actually and start selling stuff, but I haven't done it. And it wouldn't be mass producing. It'd be, I'll sell one of this, one of that, one of this. It wouldn't be, multiple of anything.
But if you find like what's his name? What's his first name? In Filament Friday. What's his first name again? Do you know Filament Friday?
Yeah, but I can't think of his name.
Chuck.
Oh, yeah.
Friday. He started out making little flags for broken flags on mailboxes. Okay. And that's what he started making. And he made one, and people thought it wanted. Other people asked about it, so he started making more, and more, and more, and more, and that's what got him making money out of 3D printing.
Cool.
So you need to find
a niche,
your little niche, something in your area that people want.
Yeah.
And then you start selling on eBay if there's enough demand out there for it or whatever, and
it
snowballs from there.
Well, I don't want to make it a job. I mean, I like being retired, but I want to, have a side project.
Yeah, but if you can get a CR30 and you can pump out 100 flags in a day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing stopping me from getting a CR30, I'm on a big channel. So I think I do enough stuff. I'm exciting enough. I just don't have a big enough channel, and they see the numbers and they say, okay, he don't have the numbers. Not very many people are going to buy him that watch him, but that's all about.
Your numbers are way bigger than mine. I don't expect to get a CR30 ever, right? Yeah. But your numbers are way higher than mine. I have 105 followers as of today on YouTube.
But I used to watch my numbers constantly. I kind of quit watching my numbers. I got under 1,900 people. It took me forever to get over 1,000. I tried and tried and tried, and it's not something anybody should worry about. I know, Dan, a lot of people are trying to get their numbers up. Don't talk about numbers. Just make content, and it comes.
Yes.
If you keep talking about your numbers all the time, people get tired of watching you because that's all you ever talk about.
I'm only talking about it with you.
Yeah.
We hang out together, but I don't talk about my numbers generally.
No, I don't mean you. I'm just saying in general, people are worried about their numbers.
Yeah.
Just try to do good content, and eventually it comes. It's like Christmas. It's going to come every year, and it happens. It's just a matter of time.
Agreed. Yeah. So it'll get there. I'm going to start now that I'm starting to do these interviews and stuff with the companies. I don't know. Did I explain to you why I'm doing it? I'm doing it. The idea behind it is to turn the tables on these companies. It's not in a bad way. They interview us makers all the time. So why can't we just talk? Why can't we do the same to them and find out about the business rather than find out about the product? Because when they meet us, when we see them online, they're advertising, they're selling product. And I'm fine talking a little bit about product, but I'd rather know more about the people and the business.
And something else you can do occasionally if you have the right company on, and if there's 30 or 40 people watching, you should ask them, if we get this amount of people watching, why don't you give away a roll of filament or give away this or that, and try to occasionally give something away where you can randomly pick somebody. You can spin the wheel. You can use Nightbot. There's a lot of ways you can do a giveaway and just randomly give something away once in a while. I used to do that last year with Ziltech quite a bit. They weren't on my stream, but I'd give away a roll of 2 or filament of every stream. And then I got real sick and I quit streaming for a long time. And then this year I started back up. I haven't asked them since, but they're going to be on in probably a couple weeks. So I'm probably going to ask them during the stream, do you like to give away a couple rolls of filament? It'll help bring in the numbers a little bit. So,
yeah, that's a good idea. As I said, I only have a small number of followers right now. There's more people who watch on Facebook than there is on YouTube. Mm-hmm. So my numbers are kind of spread, but they're there. But yeah, I plan to eventually start doing that. Now I have a Creality Wi-Fi box on its way to me. Now that could take weeks to get here, and if I hit 200 people, I'll do a giveaway of the Wi-Fi box. So I have no need for a Wi-Fi box.
From everything that I've heard about the Wi-Fi box, it would be a good stop for your tires so your car don't roll down the driveway.
Well, it works. It has limitations, and they're adding more features to it.
I've heard a lot of people couldn't get it to connect or something.
Well, no, I don't think it's going to be that hard. The issue, my personal view of the Wi-Fi box is, you have to upload your your STL to a website where they slice it and push it down to your Wi-Fi box.
I'd
So
rather slice my own models, but okay.
yeah, I'd rather slice it myself, and with Octopi, you can do that. Whereas with them, you don't have that ability. You have to give it. You have to upload it to a website. Now, if it's a general, like if it's a Benchy, who cares?
Yeah. It was a model you paid for. You're
IP.
uploading your model, and now they have a copy of your model that they could turn around and do whatever with.
Exact. That's the worry, because it's your intellectual property, and you could be putting that at risk.
Yeah.
By now, I don't know if they store it or what they do with it, but it does get uploaded to a website.
Yeah, that's not
And
good.
I'm not, and they slice it up there with their version of Slicer, and it doesn't have all. Like if you install Cura or Slicer or whatever else you want on your machine and use that for slicing, you control all the aspects, but they don't have. You don't have the ability to control all the minute aspects of it, and because of that, you're limited in what slicer settings you can do. So it's not a fully featured online slicer even.
Another thing I suggest that you do you have dual monitors?
I have more than two.
Okay, so you have YouTube open and muted right now, right?
I actually don't have it open right now.
Okay, good. You should always have YouTube open, pop out chat, and then close the window for the video. Don't monitor how many people are watching, because if you don't have very many numbers, that discourages you when you're doing your video. It affects you.
I'm just using StreamYard, and the chat comes to me here.
Okay, good.
So I'm not actually going outside or bringing it in like that. I'm using what's built in.
Yeah.
And I don't check the numbers or anything like that. It's not about that for me.
Well, I mean, I have StreamYard open on this monitor, then over here I've got YouTube, and I pop out chat and I make it like half screen, and then when it starts running, I have to mute it so YouTube don't play the audio. But I cover up the video part because it's distracting seeing myself over here delayed while I'm watching it here. But at least on YouTube, 30 seconds before StreamYard sees a chat, I can see it over here. But if my numbers are low and you say, well, wow, I've only got X amount of people watching, it might bum out your personality in your own stream. So it's best if you don't know, unless you have huge numbers, and it doesn't matter.
No, I don't care about that. My view is I see whatever comes up in the chat, because StreamYard pulls all that in there. Whatever comes up there is what I see. I don't care about the other stuff. I don't care how many people are out there. It's nice to have more than one person to be talking to. Like when I started, like tonight, I was the first half an hour before someone came in and joined the conversation, and I was talking about why I got into 3D printing, and I filled in the content as you should.
And it'll get more views. Like I tell all my guests, I said, even if that many people don't join in, I'm going to be on my Facebook group, my Facebook page, and YouTube. They'll watch it tonight, tomorrow, next week, in 6 months. It'll get more views over time. So I don't want them to jump in and think, well, where's all the people? I mean, they'll come. It just takes time. And as you grow, more people will come back and watch it.
And again, I'm not doing it for the numbers or anything like that. It's nice to finally be able to put my own name at the end of the YouTube channel.
Yeah,
that's my goal. That was my whole goal, and I got it because I've reached the number to do that. Now after that, I don't care. It's nice to have viewers. It's nice to have people who come back regularly. People who will enjoy the content. But that's what it's about, right? It's not about anything else.
Yeah, my brother's in the hospital, first time in his life. He had to have surgery today. He got a ride from a neighbor to Vegas, from Pahrump. It's an hour away from Vegas, little small community. So I went out to visit him, and I couldn't see him. He had went to surgery. But the floor he was on, I guess, well, when you go in the front door, because of the COVID thing, they check your temperature. Only one guest can go up to a room to visit anybody. It's on a safe floor. And since I take Humira, I'm very susceptible. If I catch it, I'm probably not going to survive it. So I'm the last person that should go to the hospital. But there was no signs of anything going on at the hospital like you see on the news. I didn't see crazy people everywhere, nothing going on like that. It's very mellow, very few people. And I felt safe, and he wasn't there, so I'll go visit him tomorrow morning. But,
and the other option is if somebody else goes in, bring a cell phone. You can visit him virtually on your cell phone.
Yeah.
Chat with him on the phone. So,
yeah,
like you don't have to be in person. Like I work 100% remote, so all of my work, all my communication is on this screen, right in front of me. All my conversations are here.
Do you work from home?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, don't they get boring? You're always at home. You got to get up and I guess have a standing desk where you work at, so you're not sitting all the time.
I've actually just built a desk, a standing desk that comes up to just below above tummy height.
Yeah.
I'm going to use it for a standing desk, and I can use them. I can raise my desk here as well, but it's manually unbolted, raise it up, and rebolt it. But I built a new table, and I built it so I can use it for if I'm doing any unboxing or reviews. So I can have a printer on the table with me. So I built it for that, but I can use it as a standing desk because it's the right height for a standing desk as well. So it's going to get lots of use. One way or the other, it's going to get use.
I have a Logitech Brio webcam that's up here on a wand that bends like a snake. And like I said, I normally bend it down right in front of the monitor, so I'm looking at the screen at the same time I'm talking.
Yeah.
And I bought a 25-foot cord for it, but the 25-foot cord that says it's made for it won't work. It's too long. It comes with like a 6-footer, and then I got a 25-footer, and it's just way too long.
There's a cure for that. USB cannot be that long, but hold on there a second. Let me come to you.
I hope you have a solution. I would love to be able to make it mobile.
This should work because I use it with my telescope. It's a powered USB, and it's powered over the USB. And in the middle of the cable, the problem with USB is the signal drops off. And in the middle of the cable is a repeater. Now, this is made by, let me see if there's a name on this. There's no name on this. I'd have to look up where I got it.
That's like, what, 75 foot long?
Oh, no, it's not that long. This is about 20 feet or 25 foot long. But there's a repeater built into the middle of the cable. So it's powered off your USB port. But when the signal reaches this far, the repeater boosts the signal and sends it to its destination, to the other end.
Okay, cool. I'll have to get
that
change my cord.
Help you. Now, I don't know if it works with Logitech, but I use that with my telescope, this long one, if I want to USB my laptop from a distance away, like if I was out in the field with a tent.
If I could buy a small repeater box to plug into my existing cable, I wouldn't have to rebuy the whole new cable and trash the one I got.
You'd have, well, how long is the cable?
That's 25 or 30 feet.
That's too long. That's the problem. You need to have the powered one because I think the maximum distance for USB is something like 15 feet or 18 feet.
Okay.
So your cable is too long. That's why I bought this one that's powered, because it does boost the signal halfway through the cable.
Do you think I could chop it down and splice it, or you think it might have some really fine wires in it and I wouldn't be able to? Because some cords you can't.
It's not just fine wires. I think you'd be better off just buying one. You know, because if you're buying one and if there's a problem, you can always return it.
Yeah.
If you buy one and splice it, you can do it, but then you've just ruined your cable. You have no way to return it if it doesn't work.
Well, I bought it a few months ago. I'm out of the return period on Amazon. It just sits on here. I'm not using it.
Yeah, well, yeah, you do need a repeater in the middle of the cable, though. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you can buy a repeater like that, though. I'm not sure. I've never seen a repeater. I've only seen it built into a cable, but you could try.
Okay.
You do need a booster, though. That's
I'll look into it.
Yeah, it works for me for my telescope, and my telescope is very sensitive for stuff like that because it moves a lot of commands and stuff over and back to my telescope.
So I have a Canon camera on a tripod. It's only 720p, and this camera here, the Logitech, is 1080p or 4K. And I'd rather take this little tiny camera around on a tripod when I'm filming different things in different rooms instead of moving my camcorder. Because right now I'm time lapsing with my camcorder in another room.
Why don't you just go? If you're doing time lapse, you should go with a Pi, an OctoPrint, because that's cheaper. Like a Pi with a Pi camera. OctoPrint is free.
I have Octoprints on Pis on most of the printers, and I got the camera mounted C920s, or no, 270s or 920s. I can't remember, but yeah, I have them on most of them. But right now I'm in the room. I'm filming the resin printer. Then I back up the camera, and then I start filming me taking the print out, cleaning it, doing this, doing that. And then tomorrow I'll start talking to the camera while I'm using the UV curing station, talking about what I'm doing. And then I'll cut all that footage. I'll come back into my table to wrap up the video, talk about what I did, et cetera, et cetera. Then I take that footage onto a flash drive, go in my other room where my main computer is, run a Movie Studio Platinum 16, and then I spend hours and hours trying to cut it and put it all together so I can upload it. And for quite some time, I can't upload to YouTube. There's been a problem, but the software will compile it, save it to my hard drive, then I can go to YouTube and upload the file that way. For some reason, the software used to upload it, but now it don't. I don't know why.
There's probably been changes on the YouTube side, on the Google
Yeah.
side. Yeah,
So
I do the same when I'm doing videos. I edit them locally and then do a file upload.
yeah.
It's just as easy that way. But I have, if I'm doing a if I'm doing something live, um, I will use multiple small cameras. If I'm doing a review which is pre-recorded, I'll use my camcorder because that's 4K. So I'd rather use that, and I have it set up out by my table where I have um, a plain background, so I can use a black. Now I haven't done green screening. I can, but I don't.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a plain background, and then I'm standing in front of that, and then I have my table in front of me with the printer beside me. I can do that type of setup, and I have studio lights, like the diffusion lights, diffusion boxes I have, so they actually make the light better for the camera when you're recording.
I used to stream in my other room, and I got a green screen I'd clip up behind me. I'd go into OBS Studio, and then I forget what it's called. And you throw that into StreamYard, and I throw whatever background up behind me. And then I moved it in the hobby room. And I got a network cable. It's about 100-foot long, running through the house, through a repeater, and it plugs into this other computer in this room. But my cable modem is in the other room across the house, a Gigablast.
Okay, yeah, all of my stuff is all hardwired. I have I have network cables in all the rooms in my home.
Yeah.
So it's easier. Even though there's Wi-Fi as well, you can just plug in anywhere and
go
active. Yeah, I do a lot of that. But I'd rather do if I'm doing a video, I'd rather record it with a camera, with a proper video camera, and then streaming, I'd use the camera on the computer, which is really good quality. Sometimes I use this, or I use my Mac because I have a Mac as well, and the Mac has got a really good quality camera, and I also have a Logitech camera as well. This is my Logitech camera I'm using right now.
Okay.
And it's good quality, so I use that. Or sometimes I'd use the computer screen, and I'd use a Logitech as well. So the Logitech I can move around and do close-ups with it.
Here's a C920 I use for close-ups. Logitech C920. It's got a little thing to close the lens on it, but anyway. Then I just position up whatever I'm doing, and I zoom in on it or whatever. And then I have different tripods I can put them on. Like I got this tripod here. So
yeah, I do something similar. And like they work great. But it's a lot of work. People don't realize this stuff is a lot of work.
Well, that's why when companies give you a product, you say you're going to do videos. I don't think they all understand how much work goes in making videos. It isn't like I get it.
Hours and hours. Yeah.
Making posts, reviewing, testing, trying. Obviously I don't need printers, and obviously I don't need stuff. I got too much of it, but I do it to make the videos, to get reviews, to get more people to join my channel. So I try to help people out in the community when they're having problems.
People don't realize that a review can take 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that means you're printing a lot for those 2 weeks, a lot of components. And you're trying to do it raw without fine tuning because you want to show what the printer can do without optimization.
Yeah.
And then you tweak some settings at the end.
Well, I'm going to show off my Muppet Jason.
I like your Muppet Jason.
Yeah, with the mouth, and someone's like, "Oh!" It's kind of funny looking. It's hilarious.
You know what? I like your Muppet Jason. If he was mine, I would paint him up, right? Drill a hole through his back and put an LED in his mouth.
Yeah.
And have him on a shelf. That's what I would do with him, and it would look really. And maybe his eyes as well. So drill out his eyes and put an LED that lights up his mouth and his eyes, and he glows in the dark. It's really, really cool.
I'll probably print me a Frankenstein sometime on my Hypercube. That's a good Frankenstein. I'll probably print him real big on my Hypercube.
Yeah.
Came out really nice.
I don't do a lot of models like that.
I've got hundreds.
But some people are into that. Like your son is into collecting this stuff as well, right?
Yeah. He's into Spawn. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've never been that type of collector. I'm more of I want to make something to solve a problem, or to get something to work, or to replace something that broke on me, or to fill a need. That's how I think. I've done a benchy. I've done 2 benchies ever, right? I've done more temperature towers than I've ever done benchies.
It took me 3 years to do my first benching. I've never done a temp tower.
I do a lot of temp tower, and I've even done a video on my channel on YouTube of how to set up a temp tower. Because a lot of people come in, people think 3D printing is like a desk jet. You plug it in, you link your computer to it, you hit print, and it comes out. 3D printing is not like that. You
Yeah.
have to tweak, you have to optimize, you have to learn, and there is a curve involved. And some people don't realize as well, the color of a material will change the temperature. It can change the temperature it prints at.
Yes.
So black is notoriously known for being stringy. And some blues, but greens and reds and so on, they print fantastic. So per color, you have to optimize your settings, and you have to save all these profiles, right?
Yeah.
So that you pick a profile and say, okay, this is Sunlu, and it's G-Tech, or it's IC3D, or whatever, right? And this is the color of it, and that's my profile. I load that profile, and I know on that printer it will always nail it, right? But on a different printer, I'll have to tweak the settings because it won't be right. So people don't realize when they get into 3D printing, it's like that. And it's you see, we all see it. You and I both see it online on the forums. They show you a picture of the very first print that was not off the SD card, that sliced themselves, and it looks like a cobweb, right? There's strings everywhere.
My PETG typically strings quite a bit on PETG.
I get clean prints. See this? This is PETG. 0. It was printed like this.
What temperature?
All of it was infill. And I had 0 strings. I pulled out the infill, which took a bit of work, right? But there's no sanding, no knotting, 100% clean.
What temperature?
For this is IC3D and PETG with a temperature of 230, bed 70. It was on a retraction is at 5 millimeters, and it's on a Bowden drive printer. I printed it. I have outer wall wipe enabled and set to 0.2 millimeters, because outer wall wipe, when it's moving from one area to another, it actually moves inside. It does a retraction, moves into the part, and then moves out. And what it does is it cleans the nozzle off before it hops to another area.
Yeah.
And I also like to use combing, so then you're not jumping over and back hollow spaces. You're following the shape of the part. So if there is any stringing or any little bit that does get out, it stays within the part. And you turn combing on over the infill, not over the walls.
I'm slicing typically with S3D. I don't have a combing option. I think that's Cura, right?
Cura has combing. It's a godsend.
Okay.
And I haven't tried it with some of the other printers. I don't use Simplified 3D because I think people are going to attack me for what I'm about to say. Simplified 3D was a really good slicer. They haven't developed anything. They've been promising a new version for 2 years.
Yeah. Well, I bought it almost 4 years ago at $150. I bought it before my first printer showed up. Yeah. So that's why I have it.
Yeah, I've never went for it. Because to me, it's outdated.
Yeah.
There's better print, like Cura has better options. The Idea Maker is a fantastic slicer. And it's free.
Idea Maker, Cura, same thing.
Well, no, sorry, not Idea Maker. What's the other one? Sorry, I'm thinking of a different one.
Prusa?
Prusa is a great slicer, and it's free.
Yeah.
And it's way ahead of Simplified 3D. And there's others. Even Slicer, right?
Yeah.
Base Slicer, which is based on an old version of Cura, but it's old. It's prints. You get really good quality prints out of it, right? Yeah. You can't justify paying $150 for a product that's out of date, that is so far behind everyone else now.
Yeah, just getting into printing. If I was just getting into it, I probably wouldn't buy it after hearing all the things going on with all the companies. But since I have it and I did buy it, I still use it. But I just started tinkering with Cura back when I got the Ender 3 V2, the first time I ever tried Cura, the Creality Cura.
There's another one, not Idea
Creality
Maker.
Slicer, which is Cura. Yeah,
There's another slicer. It's not Idea Maker. What's it called?
I'm not sure.
Let me look this up. Raise 3D. No, Raise 3D is Idea Maker. That's not Cura.
Okay.
Yeah, I was right. It's Idea Maker. Idea Maker natively supports IDEX printers. No other slicer natively supports them. They actually natively support an IDEX, which is nice. None of the others have the option. You have to do some G-code magic and stuff, tweaking to get it right.
I need to run. I have things I have to get done, and I'm tired and all that. And
well, it was fun.
I was planning on streaming tonight, and I didn't do it Sunday, but I have my guest is on Friday night, 4 p.m. So we'll wait and see him. And I just got a lot going on. It takes a lot of time to do a hangout. 3 or 4 hours of basically doing nothing. And so, but more people will join in, I'm sure. So if you want to keep streaming, just hang out and keep talking, and they'll show up. So
yeah, it was good. It's good for you to hang out. Come join me.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you're doing great. Keep it up. You'll get wherever you want to get to. Just keep interviewing people. You're doing a great job.
All right, man.
Take care.
See you Friday.
All right. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Well, that's all for tonight. Jerry is leaving. It was a quiet night, but we had good conversation about 3D printing and so on, and lasers and laser cutters and so on. So don't forget, tomorrow night, whoever just joined, we're about to wrap it up. I'm sorry. Whoever tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this channel, I'll be interviewing Heidi and Ronald from Soval. So please join in on that, and like and subscribe to the channel if you're on, and hit that bell if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Facebook, click the follow and the thumbs up. It helps to promote the channel, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you, and take care, stay healthy, and keep printing. Good night.